welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is Coffee, Tea, and Art, all things creative and caffeinated. This is Chris, I am Tori, and we have a crazy episode. October was crazy, so this is all travel mania. We went to 3 different places this month, and we're going to share kind of the teas and coffees and fun stuff we found at each one.
This is truly going to be a coffee, tea, and art episode.
Definitely. Well, aren't they all?
Well, then we have coffee and tea this time.
True. So, we're going to start where we started the month in Maine, Oregon.
No.
Portland,
Maine.
Oh, yeah.
This other side of the country.
I'm sleep deprived.
Yes. Wake it up. Wake it up.
Well, yeah, I said Maine, Oregon, like it's a thing. And
yeah.
It's not a thing. Don't try and find it.
Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine. We were there shooting City and Sea.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. We saw lighthouses, we saw the ocean, we saw mountains, yes,
rain.
And city. We went downtown, and they have a whole art scene downtown. There's an art school called Mecca, which was really cool. And we hit a local print shop called Pickwick Press. Mm-hmm. We picked up some hand-printed letterpress cards.
Yeah, they had a ton of old letterpress stuff and like a whole program where people could essentially, I think, timeshare in the space and do their publications and do their artwork and let their dog crawl around.
She doesn't know where she wants to be.
Yeah. Go back there. There you go. Thanks. So it was very cool.
It was. We also went to a little tea shop. It had a lot of local, like, coffee and tea places and bakeries. We got some vegan donuts. And we went to a tea shop called Dobra Tea.
Dobra Tea.
And we found some really awesome teas. Their, like, menu was like 2 inches thick.
Yeah, so this is, I've never been in a tea shop like this before. It was very, it's like it had all the little drawers of all the little teas. They had Asian teas. They had a menu that was this thick, and half of it was just information explaining to you what the different teas were and why they were the tea you might want or not want at the time. But we found something that I think you can only find on the East Coast. It's tea made with seaweed. So this one's called Emerald Honeybush. It's a decaffeinated tea.
It's really good. Here, taste it. I made some.
Yes.
And it comes in, it's loose leaf tea. You already said it's caffeine free.
This is how she shuts me up.
Put this in your mouth. It's caffeine free, which I think you already said. But it's really interesting because of the seaweed. It does have a little taste of the sea, but it's not overpowering, and it's just very soothing. And it's a great alternative to black tea. So it feels rich and dense, but without the caffeine.
And seaweed has a lot of very healthful micronutrients. So there's a lot of nutritional value, in a way, packed in this tea. So
yeah, and it says it's great hot or iced.
And you can order this online if you're interested in trying it. We'll put the link up.
Cupofc.me.
Cupofc.me.
Yeah, put that up down there. So that's it for Portland, Maine.
Yes. So then we flew home for a few days. And
it was like 3 days.
3 days. Just enough time to do our laundry and feed our dog and our kid. Then we headed west for Adobe Max.
And west that way?
West. They don't know where we're sitting.
I know, that's true.
We headed west for Adobe Max.
Las Vegas, baby.
Yes.
Which is really not one of our favorite places. But there's a lot of light there. I feel like it's perpetually dusk. It never really gets dark because of all the light.
Yeah.
And did you know there was a meteor shower while we were there?
There's no way you would have known.
We couldn't see it. But we did see lots of awesome creative stuff, and there was like 12,000 creatives
So
there.
yeah, 12,000 creatives come to this conference, and there are hundreds of workshops and sessions and networking opportunities, and vendors show up to show you their latest wares. It's just very inspiring. It's a great way to sort of reconnect with design and art if you're a person who favors Adobe's tools.
Yes, which they're the industry standard, so most people do.
Right. Like if you're a painter and all you do is paint, obviously you probably want to go to that.
I don't know. Some painters are using iPad and they have Adobe Sketch and a lot of options there too.
I stand corrected. They actually had a guy there who was putting on a session about that.
This is not an Adobe commercial, we promise. But I did pick up the art supply I'm going to use later at the end of this episode to draw the tea and the coffee. And it is from Moleskine. So they had a booth there, and I stopped, and I got a couple notebooks, but I also got these pencils. One are traditional graphite pencils, and the other are watercolor pencils. And they're interesting to me. They're square, and they're a lot of fun to use. And the watercolor pencils really have a good vibrant color and a lot of fun. So I always like to try new products and try new stuff from companies that I trust and use, and I'm going to show you how these work a little bit later, but totally worth checking those out for sure. We also, whenever we travel, of course, are always looking for beverages to drink, specifically coffee, because especially when you're at a conference, it is early mornings and late nights, and coffee is a must. This is actually sponsored content because somebody contacted me from Sudden Coffee, and they have these cool little vials of instant coffee.
Yeah. And
it came in this little bag. They're crafted in San Francisco, so it's from California. And we thought, especially when traveling, it's really hard to find a good cup of coffee sometimes. It wasn't in Portland, Maine.
It was in Las Vegas. We were in a huge hotel that had, sort of institutionalized coffee shops, and it wasn't the best coffee. So perfect time to test out the coffee from Sudden Coffee. Mm-hmm. They sent us a couple of the vials. They sent us these cool little cards, too, that explain what the coffee is. And I like the one that said, this one's informational. Did you know that coffee is actually a fruit? And it talks about how the coffee fruit referred to as cherries, and each one are 2 seeds. These are the beans that get turned into coffee. Mm-hmm. So they are a subscription program. You can sign up and receive coffee every month from them, this instant coffee, and they change up the flavors every quarter. Mm-hmm. So this is a more fruity blend that we're drinking it iced because they recommended it. They say...
it's called Four.
As in
there's
golf.
An exclamation point at the end.
Yeah. And they compare it to an Arnold Palmer, which I think
we did an episode about. Mm-hmm. Arnold Palmer. Yeah. And they talk about it being sweet. We did try it warm. It is definitely a very punchy coffee warm. I had good coffee flavor, good, what do you call like the taste after you taste something? After flavor?
It had a good finish, a good kind of woodsy finish.
That sounds way more professional than after flavor.
So it is.
But I really like it iced.
It was really good iced.
Smell it.
Mm-hmm. So if you're traveling a lot, or you just don't want to go through the hassle of boiling coffee and messing with grinds and that sort of thing, this is a good option. This is higher end than the instant coffee you're probably going to get at your grocery store or some of the chains that sell instant coffee.
I really like it iced. Taste it. It's like, it has a really good coffee flavor. It doesn't taste watered down, even though it's been sitting in ice for a little while. Mm-hmm. But it's really sweet. It really doesn't need sweetener because you can almost taste the fruit. Yeah. And it talks about the raspberries and peach flavor, and I get that.
So yeah, I think as far as instant coffee goes, it's the cream of the crop. It would also be good for baking, as the resident baker who has to use instant coffee for things like cookies and brownies.
And cupcakes. Remember those cappuccino cupcakes you made once?
This would be a really good option compared to what I've been using. So
definitely.
Highly recommend it. To be fair, if you're into brewed coffee, like lattes or a darker roast, just based on the one we tasted, you may not like it as much. But,
well, it's totally different coffee, though.
For traveling, it was awesome. Definitely. Just get some hot water and get a really good cup of coffee in a hotel that had nothing for miles and miles.
Yeah, I think we should get some for when we travel next.
Yep.
So, on to Orlando, Florida.
So we left Las Vegas, came home for 3 more days, and had to go to Florida that way.
It is that way.
For work.
Yeah. So we were there for work, but we did happen to get a little bit of time for a break.
Had a morning off.
And to find a little magic.
It's just you and me. Do you want some coffee?
the first coffee, tea, and art with a wardrobe change.
Awesome.
So, yes, we definitely saw magic. Since we were in Orlando, I had to go to Universal Studios. I had to see the Harry Potter experience. And we
In case you didn't notice, she's a fan.
A little bit. We went to Diagon Alley, we went to Hogsmeade, we rode the rides, and I may have picked up a little magic garb. And I got a wand while I was there, and I learned a couple magic tricks. They actually have, this is an interactive wand, so there's parts of the park where you can do spells and the scenery interacts with you.
Yeah.
So it's way cool. And I thought it would be a perfect way to introduce the next notebook. And actually the notebook I'm going to use later in this episode to do my drawing. It was actually sent to us, but without further ado, Wingardium Leviosa. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. Go it.
Okay, so Baron Fig notebook. I actually got two of them. I'm going to put my wand down here. Because I don't want Sophie to get it. I got two separate books. One is blank. This is called the Confidant. And the other one is what they're calling peach. I would say it's kind of a pinky peach.
This is Metamorphosis.
Yeah, and this one's the Metamorphosis. That's the Confidant.
Mm-hmm.
That one is blank, and if you want to open it up, I actually did a little test illustration in there. It's got some ink, it's got some of the Moleskine watercolor pencils, and I put a little quote in there. And the paper actually held up really well. It looks like a pretty thin sheet, but it's not.
Didn't bleed through.
Didn't bleed through to the next page. And what's really cool is these books open flat. They come in blank, ruled, and dotted. That's what this one is. It's gray dots. And this has a different color scheme because this is the Metamorphosis, if you want to open the first page of that. So, yeah, that one's just gray. So this has a nice little illustration in it. And they come in boxes, and they're really nice. Like,
yeah, they really feel like a well-bound book. I like the fact that they lay flat. I'm stealing one of these at some point.
I'm sure you are. The peach one?
I do like dot grids since I
know.
work on like
This
different...
is actually pretty cool. I like that it has a blue little
bookmark.
Mm-hmm. They have 192 pages in them, and like I said, this is sponsored content. They sent me these for free, but I always want to do a fair representation of if I really like a product or not. I've actually used the Confidant before. I have another one of these, and I've used it mainly for journaling. I haven't used it for a lot of art, so it was neat to try out art in it, and we're going to see the drawing in it a little bit later as well. And speaking of like traveling and sketchbooks, I also have and want to share this new product I picked up called the Sendak. It's from Peg & Awe, and it's a nice like leather closure on here, and this is really to hold all of your tools in. So you can see that, and this folds out. It's waxed. So
it's waxed canvas.
Yeah, it's nice, holds up to the elements, and has places you can put brushes and pencils and lots of things. There's a little zipper pouch over here, and it's way cool. So perfect for traveling. I've shared a couple different versions of travel kits, and I really like this one because it's just so compact and holds so much stuff.
Yes, I'm jealous.
We'll have to get you one. So I'll be using one of the pens from this in my drawing as well. And I think you have a book to share.
Yeah, I was trying to put that back together.
Sorry.
I think we covered Felix Scheinberger's watercolor book the last time we did one of these. You're not going to make me disappear, are you? Am I talking too much? We shared his watercolor book in our last video. And since then, he has come out with a new book called Dare to Sketch, a guide to drawing on the go. And just like his watercolor book, this one is, again, very approachable. I love his style. And I love the way he's broken down.
They can't see that.
I know, I'm looking for something I like. He's broken down the tools, he's broken down the techniques, and he does a lot of great discussion of just let go of perfection. Don't be afraid to draw the way you draw.
Right. I love his distinct style. I also love that it really is about sketching and doodling. It isn't about refined finished art. He talks a lot about your sketchbook and how it is for you. And it's your place to explore and learn. And the more you draw, the more you doodle, the more you learn.
Yeah, I like this page particularly where he talks about composition, like how to frame a drawing that you do and give it more drama. Just lots of things, just like the watercolor book that I wouldn't have thought of and could immediately put to use.
Yeah, definitely. It's way cool. He talks about washes and color and line weight and all that.
Panorama is the right place, the right time.
Definitely worth picking that book up.
Object drawing, montages, you name it.
It's in there.
Yeah, so I think his watercolor book and this book would be really great to have in your library if you're someone who just likes to enjoy the process of drawing.
Well, and the holidays are coming up, so perfect wish list item. Definitely cool. So we've talked about a ton of stuff.
Yes.
Is there anything else? I think we've covered it all.
I think if we haven't covered it all, I don't know what we've left out. It's been a very full episode. Thanks to all the folks who sent us stuff to review. We really appreciate it. I believe the Peg and All thing was also something that was sent to you.
Yep, as a review.
So, it's been awesome to look at all these products, put them to good use, and we will see you again next time.
Yeah, hang out after for the drawing of, I'm going to do both the coffee and the tea, so that should be fun. And if you want us to review anything, I'm not going to poke your eye out.
No, I was just thinking, can you wave your wand and like make the pen draw without you?
I don't think I'm at that level yet.
Okay.
If there's anything you want us to review, send it our way. We'd love to hear your comments, so leave those below, and we will see you next time. Bye!
Bye.